Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
If you live in Belfast, do you look to London or Dublin? Or maybe you look to both, or neither? These are some of the many layers of identity and self that are part of the puzzle of people's lives in Northern Ireland as it reaches its centenary. In the second of his films this week, Pádraig O'Brien talks to a group of young Catholics who might be assumed to be looking to Dublin. But, of course, the reality is much more interesting than the assumption. And a warning to viewers, there is flash photography in this film, and some of the contributors express themselves in rather frank terms.
Irish Republican rappers Kneecap are low-life scum. Self-described. The trio from West Belfast are controversial, crude, play to IRA tropes. But they're more than that too. The vision is for a united Ireland. The language is Irish.
Tá a bhhaid níos fearr as, mar Ileán, but níl bhain sin tá a grí fáilte chu rumpí ará Jesus Christ, ní muid go f***ing ruúig a chur armh go luchas at the area anti-hugging, tá muid just mí hásta leis an córas a Tom Fallahar.
Post-Brexit, there's been a lot of talk about a shared or united Ireland. For Kneecap, it's worth a shot because it's better than what they have. Their rebel songs are more about shared experiences on working class streets than Irish unity per se.
And you honestly think that a united Ireland would make life better for working class neighbourhoods across the board, do you?
Yeah, I know. I'm 23 from a Falls Rule with no economic background. What sort of simple question? What sort of question is that to ask me, Pádraig? Yeah, I know. All I'm saying is, from whatever community I'm from, there's a severe lack of culture and identity there now because we're all walking about speaking English but proclaiming we're Irish. And we've got this cultural identity crisis going on. There's a massive lack of that in working class communities about their identity, who they are. Even people on that side, they're proclaiming to be British but they're living in Ireland. So they're obviously having the exact same and this mad identity crisis at the same time.
Some people say, right, do they really understand the pain of the Troubles? And if they do, would they be caricaturing it in the way that you are?
I think that's probably, it's probably only people from outside of Ireland that say things like that. I don't think you would get many people from the road saying that we're, like, Jesus, all of our families are traumatised over the war. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're separate to the war, do you know what I mean? It's like our families obviously grew up during it or whatever.
This is the pass down of it. This is the generational trauma that's been passed down through. If we're not able to display it in some way, then who is?
100 years later, after the state was established, and we're still at a position of a sort of stalemate at the moment, and that's where we're here to try and break them barriers down.
We put our finger on these pressure points of society for the last 30 years that no one's been able to speak about in order to create a dialogue, because no one's talking about it. Everyone's like, oh, can we just sweep it under the rug or give peace a chance or whatever, but we're like, no, the war necessarily hasn't ended for a lot of people. We've had more people die from 1998 to the present day from suicide than what died during the whole 30 years of the Troubles. So essentially what we're saying is, has the war ended? Really?
Across the two communities as well.
Across the two communities, this is what I'm saying. I have more in common with Joe Bloggs from Shankill Road, who's 23, than Sebastian Cockworth from Dublin, Black Rock or whatever, who's got a load of money. Even though we've both got the same passports, I have more in common with Joe Bloggs from Shankill Road. Do you know what I mean? And it was this that we were taught for years, that it was Catholics against Protestants and it was a religious issue, but it was not.
If you drive along the Peace Wall in Portadown, west of Belfast, you come to St Mary's Youth Club. Protestant and Catholic young people at a cross-community session. Play pick a flag, any flag.
Why did you split them like this?
Yesterday we heard from loyalist young people. Now the turn of Orla, Aoife and Amy from Catholic families, not of one mind on Irish unity.
I just think a united Ireland would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't think a united Ireland would bring peace.
No. Well, look, at the minute, like the rats and stuff over, like there's so much.
Why do you say that?
Because I think it would cause uproar. Because it's been like this for so long and people are used to it, and as you say, their traditions are going to change and it's just going to cause uproar.
But our traditions were changed 100 years ago.
And look what
and
happened
there was
in the
uproar.
Troubles.
Yeah.
Look at the Troubles. It's
yeah,
just
but
going
our,
to be like being
our
in the Troubles
tradition, that's
again.
just like bowing down.
But it's not getting peace.
It'll be another. There will be peace. Look, sure, look, there's no peace at the minute. Look at the riots in Belfast. Do you know what I mean?
I was just going to say it'd be exactly like the Troubles again.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe even worse.
The problem for these young women, old stories from older people with the Troubles still happening in their head.
they're making the kids believe that Catholics and Protestants shouldn't be friends in some senses.
The older generation are filling the younger generation's heads with
the past.
Neither Orla, Aoife, Amy or Kneecap are interested in Irish unity at any cost. Just like the loyalist young people we spoke to, they are interested in the price everyone has to pay if older politicians stuck in the past don't make government work for the young.
We need to focus on something completely different. Them 100 years have failed all of us, as we said.
Exactly.
In the last, from the ceasefire, in the last 20 years, there's more people died suicide during the whole 40 years of war. And it's clearly not working.
Exactly.
So it's time to actually sit down and think, egos aside, what can possibly benefit our young people.
We're not going to dilute ourselves. We're not going to dilute our art. But we're still full of love and going to have a conversation with these people, with the younger people, not the older ones. Anyone over 35.
I can go themselves. Like, the thing is, there was never the dialogue, but there was never 40. Aye. There was never the dialogue. Porrick, anyway, Porrick. There was never the dialogue.
Peace talks, it turns out, don't just happen in government buildings. They happen online, they happen on the street. They can even happen when you're wasted in a club in Larne.
Now after what are we, 20 years after the ceasefire or whatever, now we're starting to have this dialogue a bit more because of social media or whatever, and you're meeting fellas from Larne when you're wiped out at a party. They're like, oh, here, I don't care, you're name's the UVF, legend.